Tua Tagovailoa came out and apologized. We're going to listen to his apology, among other things. Jalen Phillips also had some things to say. Then Barry Jackson had an article. Let's jump into this. What is up, Finn fans? Normally my videos come out 7 a.m. as I record them the night before. And normally Wednesdays are my pick videos, but I was like, I'm going to take the day. I'm going to put picks out Thursday. Then on Friday we got the preview, and then Sunday we go live for the Fireball. That's what a lot of people are calling it, the Fireball, because whoever loses out of these two teams, their head coach is most likely going to get fired. And then Tua came out and apologized. So I really wanted to, listen to what he had to say and kind of delve into it and go into all that stuff. But first, I do have to shout out today's sponsor and the official sponsor of the DouglieDoWrong football season, Sleeper. Go check them out. Fantastic fantasy app. I have a pick'em league in there, which I have to remember to do my picks because tomorrow's the game. If you haven't done your picks in the pick'em league, get 100% up to $100 if you use the promo code DDW. And right now, they have a cool promo where you get a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. You just got to sign up. So click the link in the description. Go sign up. It's an absolutely fun app. So let's jump into this and let's listen to what Tua had to say.
I made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. I've talked to guys on the team about it, talked to the leaders about it, and that they know my heart. They know that the intent was right, but no matter the intent, the intent can be right, but when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, that leaves a void of silence and a lot of questions for the guys on our team. Now, being 1-5, we talk a lot about, all right, we got to get this going. We got to get this going. Come in excited to go to work. Forget about the noise. And I feel like I just added onto that for our guys. For myself, I got to look at myself as the leader, protecting the team. I don't feel like I did that to the best of my abilities. I felt like I let the emotions of the game get to me after the game. And, that's something that I can learn from as a leader on this team. And what happens in-house should be protected, and none of that should have gotten out. And so want to publicly apologize about that, want to move forward, and now want to focus on Cleveland Browns.
So I appreciate, like I'm a flipping player, but I see where he's coming from. And him coming out and apologizing is definitely big of him, because rarely does anyone nowadays come out and make an apology for anything that they feel like they've done wrong. But yeah, like he said, he came, and if you guys remember, I think it was 2022 or 2023, the whole mantra of that season was protect the team. And like Tua said, they're 1-5, so they're trying to push out the outside noise, and he kind of fed into the outside noise by his comments of essentially being like, people are showing up late, yada yada. So again, him coming out and apologizing, big. I think that his teammates are also going to see that and respect that. But again, the biggest thing that cures these type of things is winning, and they have to win. And they're 1-5. You have like about less than 5% chance to make the playoffs. You have to miraculously do a 180 on this team. The defensive line has to do a 180, the linebackers, the secondary, our offensive line, Tua, like the whole team has to do a complete 180. Coaching, except for the special teams. Special teams is fantastic. But him coming out and apologizing is big of him. He also came out and they, on the purpose of player only meetings, he says, that's something I think we should keep in house. I don't want to speak about that. And I put a GIF out that looked like this. Wait, this one. And not because I'm like, screw what you're saying or anything, or I'm like, oh my God, I'm making that face because, my man, that's what you should have said in the first place. That's what you should have said when the whole Tyreek Hill situation came up. Like, that's something you should have been like, listen, I'm gonna keep what happens between me and Tyreek. He apologized to us. I'm building a relationship. like I said, when Tua comes out and says things that earn a defense, I'll defend it. But like, there's things he comes out and I'm like, someone's got to be like, look, this is what you need to say here, right? Or look, try not to, like, they need to coach him into being better. He's like a wrestler that is like, has good matches here and there, but he's horrible on the mic. That's like kind of what Tua is right now. So, because like Devin McCourty comes out and says, as a leader, you want to put out the fires. The only thing I got from that is the captain on the team is not leading the team the right way. I would have been better if he had said, this is a reflection on me. Rashad Jones came out and he said, it starts with leadership for real. I don't know who the leader is over there. People not showing up to the meetings. It looks like nobody respects nobody over there. So again, like he said, he's trying to put out a fire and it's not great. Cameron Wolf said multiple players were not happy with Tua's comments after the game. They expressed it to him. Credit Tua for quickly owning up to his mistake with an apology and realizing the impact. Best way to move past it, winning. And like I said, I agree 100% with Cameron Wolf, because there was a bunch of players in the locker room, and you know, it's been reported that were like, what is he talking about? And some were like, you know, again, Aaron Brewer said he didn't keep this in house, and you know, a bunch of guys came out and were like, these are things you got to keep in house, you know. And yeah, you know, on the team being 1-5, he says you got to see who as a person really is as you're going. You got to see who a person really is. There you go, dyslexic. As you're going through this hardships, you get to see, does that person start pointing fingers? There hasn't been any bickering or pointing of fingers. Now, I'm not. You know, the man just apologized, so I'm not gonna. The man just apologized. This is what Jalen Phillips had to say about the whole situation.
I mean, honestly, I really don't even know what he said exactly. I deleted Twitter off my phone after the game, getting all type of crazy messages and shit. So, you know, to that extent, I'm not really concerned with what Tua has to say. I know Tua's heart, and I know that like if he did say anything, it was out of good intention. I don't think he's trying to call anybody out in particular, other than just like I said, we're holding each other and we're trying to hold ourselves accountable. So anybody who's mad about him calling people out for being late, really it's kind of like if the shoe fits type situation. Like you can't really be mad at something that is their fault in the first place. So I mean, I'm not like, I don't think Tua is like super wrong for what he said. At the end of the day, like, you know, I think there are certain things we can keep in house, but I trust Tua's judgment, and like I said, I know his heart, so I'm not worried about what he said.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you said, there's certain things you should keep in house, but you know, at the end of the day. But I think what the biggest problem with it is the fact that it was after a loss, right? So everyone is kind of feeling it. Everyone's kind of in their feelings, and it was after a loss. So it's like he said, he got in his feelings and said what he said. But you got to do better. And, you know, it seems like, and this is something that has been talked about, that it's a whole leadership thing. It starts at the head coach, man. You're hoping and praying that the players will, you know, lead themselves in the locker room and they'll have this whole thing. But you gotta do something here, Mike McDaniel, and to expect him, and I talked about this in the offseason, to do a 180 from his friendly, player-friendly motto, and the people were being late, and there's no discipline, and this, it's all like, it's not going to work. Now, Barry Jackson came out, and he said, you know, made an article, why is there so many team meetings? This is what he said. Beyond the traditional meetings with the coaches, Dolphins players also meet among themselves to watch film, get a handle on communication issues, discuss areas to improve, in some cases talk about upcoming opponents. These types of meetings are common in the NFL, according to a veteran cornerback, Rasul Douglas, and several teammates, but not every team has them. Bradley Chubb says, in Denver, we didn't necessarily have them. If we wanted to talk about something, it was, hey, let's get all the guys together. We made an emphasis here that each and every Thursday we'll get together and talk about what we just saw. Everybody is talking about what they saw from the practice tape and how we could be better and learn from it and grow. I'm not saying the meetings haven't worked, but we can be better. These meetings often include player film sessions, are held, as Coach McDaniel said, after meeting times and practice times, either Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. Tua gathers his receivers, sometimes others, for these weekly player-only meetings. What's the benefit? It's better when we speak, when we're speaking, because we're the ones out there with the live bullets, is what Westbrook-Akine said. Noted that he also had these types of meetings when he played for Tennessee, which isn't a great sign because Tennessee was horrible. Seeing it differently than the coach's film point of view helps. It's designed to be on the same page and build that chemistry. We got different details depending on the play. We make sure we're locked in on where we're supposed to be, where Tua wants us to be. Obviously, people are going to take that and run with it. Why not? One change is in the Dolphins' case is that the coaches have begun attending some of these players' meetings at the respect of the players. It hasn't happened on offense, but it happened on the defensive line, linebackers, and the defensive backfield 3-player set. Rasul Douglas said, "I've done them either way. I've done it with just the players. I've also done it with the coaches, but I think we've been doing them by ourselves, and maybe what we say to ourselves is not what the coaches probably want for us to do in those situations. So I know we brought it up and said we want the coaches just to come in and give feedback if what we're saying was right. They did that this week. So again, that's where it could pay off, because the defense sometimes are, one guy is in the wrong spot, and it's because they think, oh, this is what we need to do. And the coaches are like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. So like I said on Monday, man, it's a huge dumpster fire. A little injury update. Alec Ingold, neck/rest. Safety Elijah Campbell did not practice on Wednesday as the team began preparing for Sunday's game against Cleveland. Center Aaron Brewer, pectoral, linebacker Jordan Brooks, and safety Dante Trader and tight end Darren Waller with a rest were limited. So it's not that bad, but it would be fantastic if James Daniels and Austin Jackson and a bunch of these other guys would come off the IR. We will wait and see. I will have a Patreon video out later tonight, so you'll either see it tonight or tomorrow morning, and the pics will be out tomorrow, because I got some details about internal stuff that I want to share and let you guys know about. But Tua apologized, move forward from it, stop harping on it. Like, people want to harp on the fact that he said that his kids help him, ignore the hate that he gets, but people want to harp on the fact that he gave an extreme example. Telling you, when it deserves criticism, he'll get the criticism and he'll apologize for it. When it doesn't, you just sound ridiculous. That's all I'm going to say. I'll see you later tonight for the patrons, and I'll see you tomorrow with the picks. But as usual, stay classy. FN's up.